After killing off Frank Castle and sending him into another dimension, Marvel Comics is rebooting The Punisher with a brand new series, but it will no longer be featuring Frank Castle. This is from the official Marvel website here. It says a new Punisher will make his vengeful debut in an all-new ongoing comic series revealed during the Marvel Heroes, Hulks, and Super Soldiers panel at San Diego Comic-Con. The new comic series will be penned by award-winning writer David Pepose, I don't know how to say it, and drawn by superstar artist Dave Watcher, or Wachter. Covers will be illustrated by artist and industry veteran Rod Reich. I actually liked his stuff. He did this Image comic book series about superhero unions. I can't remember the title right now, but I actually enjoyed that. That was a really good story. Last week, Marvel Comics teased a single question: who is the Punisher? Series writer David Pepose revealed the answer: Joe Garrison. Joe Garrison, really. And this is what Pepose said. So that's who they're replacing Frank Castle with, some guy named Joe Garrison. The man might be different, but the punishment remains the same. We'll see. I doubt it. I wanted to introduce the Danny Ketch to Frank's Johnny Blaze. I'm sure you did. Look at this outfit. It looks awful. Remember, they still can't do the skull symbol because they hate it. They don't like the people. They specifically hate the people that like to wear that skull symbol. And that's why you'll never see it. Now he's like some kind of, I don't even know. They look Iron Man. The Iron Punisher is what it looks like to me. It looks like an Iron Man suit. Looks awful. Terrible design. I guess it's better than the last one that they were doing with Jason Aaron's run. That one was even worse with like that demonic figure or whatever. So it's better than that, but this still looks derivative of Iron Man in my opinion. No imagination. And you don't really need to have the imagination because you shouldn't be redesigning it anyways. You should just keep the classic logo. That's what Frank Castle wears. But I guess this isn't Frank Castle. This is Joe Garrison now, but they're still calling him the Punisher. Pathetic. In this action-packed new Punisher saga, Frank Castle has disappeared, but evil will always need to be punished. With all new threats rising to claim innocent victims, criminals will need to beware of a dangerous vigilante hunting them from the shadows. Enter a new Punisher, retired SHIELD Black Ops agent Joe Garrison. But what brings him back into action? What put Joe Garrison on his path of vengeance? And when the smoke clears, will he even make it out alive? Who cares? That should be the last question, right? Who cares? Who cares about Joe Garrison? Why would you sideline Frank Castle? Frank Castle, you shouldn't be sidelining him. You should be telling like awesome stories about Frank Castle. And I think this is the issue that a lot of these comic book companies have got themselves in. They always try and tell serialized stories now. They don't try and tell episodic anymore. Frank Castle is a character made for episodic stories. You could just be telling all kinds of stories that he's doing. You could have him down on the border. You could have him dealing with human trafficking in like New York or Florida or something like that. I mean, there's so many things you can have him facing down, hunting down, dealing with drug dealers, crooked. You could even have him doing some kind of like espionage stuff where he first gets into like some kind of like cocaine drug ring or something like that, and it leads him to like the CIA and the Pentagon or something like that. And he's dealing with like big wigs in like the Defense Department, and he's gonna bring them to justice because they're going around destroying people's lives. That could have been a really interesting Punisher story. I doubt we're gonna get anything like that with Joe Garrison, but you could be doing stuff like that where it's just like you could do maybe two, three issue arcs or whatever, but it doesn't even have to be that. You could just have an episodic, one issue, one and done like they used to do when Chuck Dixon and Mike Baron were on the character. But then Pepose continued saying, I asked myself, how do we build a bigger table and how do we invite as many... Oh, this is already awful. We're built for the modern audience, bigger table. Invite as many readers as possible. Like, that's literally what this is. Why don't you just create a good story instead of trying to thinking about, like, you're trying to build a bigger table? You might want to appeal to your actual Punisher fans first, which you have completely alienated over the course of a couple years now with what you've done to Frank Castle. For existing fans of the Punisher and for new fans, this is a story that's not going to sacrifice any of the attitude, any of the action, and we are not letting the pedal off the metal. I don't know. The fact that this guy has an absolutely terrible Iron Man derivative suit implies that you've already taken the pedal off the metal. The fact that it's not Frank Castle and you're creating some character named Joe Garrison already shows, even those guns look like that gun looks terrible. Like, what is this? That looks awful. I don't know. It just looks like a generic. It just looks generic. It doesn't look very good. I mean, these knee pads and everything. I don't know. I keep seeing this in like the actual live action stuff. They're putting these knee pads on everyone. Why does he need a knee pad? I don't know. But this just looks like I don't know. Zero interest in this. Comes out November 8th, I guess. Here's the other one. They literally made a cover where you're supposed to be shooting at him. I don't know. And he looks like he's shooting energy weapons because you can't actually have real firearms anymore in a Punisher comic. So just disappointing.